This is
It's my son.
yeah.
This is Iggy.
Most of the interviews going to be questions geared that are for Iggy, but
Oh, there he goes. I knew he was going to run away. Thank you for that entrance. That was amazing. Iggy, you okay?
You're very welcome. Yeah, we'll see in a minute.
Maybe we get his bed and put it like right here. That's a good idea.
Sure.
Hi, Shady. How we doing, everybody?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, man.
So welcome to the Cookery, or as we call it on the inside, the Cookery.
Because they're all on cookie. Oh, Iggy, here you go, buddy. Come on. There you go. Come on, there you go. They'll do it. Come here. We're going to waste so much time.
Yeah, I can tell. No, he's really well trained.
So, question before we really get started. I know you're asking the questions, but how's the food? Come on.
So the thing, the thing about the food is like, which probably if we ever do an event like this again, it will shift.
Be catered, you mean, outside of
Exactly.
Because if we could thank Jesse and Jessica, or Jessica and Jesse and all volunteers, and your entire family. Come here, buddy, come here.
It's tremendous. 25 pounds of sesame noodles. I mean.
It's a good thing I'm off the clock because I'm not going to eat any of it. Well, I'll eat a little bit.
As a management ask, I think it's incredible. Well, I want to start with the show for a minute.
The Stevie Kellogg show?
No. Man versus Food. I read that you unknowingly auditioned for it. Like that sounds like the best audition ever. But what happened?
So, in my line of work, when yours too, and oftentimes one job leads to another, and I wound up doing a job in LA. I lived in New York for a long time. I'm from New Jersey, and yes, one dude from New Jersey, 3 dudes from New Jersey, including me. And I wound up getting this job for casting director. I won't be too toothy about this, but casting director that I really love, who I booked a bunch of stuff with. She's like, "Hey, Case," she's like, "there's this show in LA, and it's with these Smosh guys, which is like this. They're like these huge YouTube stars, but it's an LA local hire." So I was like, "Oh, cool. It doesn't matter. I trust her." So she's like, "So that means it's $100 a day, and you have to find a place to live." So
around these parts, that sounds all right.
It was pretty good.
$100 a day.
So doing that show for like 6 weeks led to meeting the director. The director and I became really friendly, and then she introduced me to an agent in New York City. And that agent I pitched a bunch of shows to. One of them was a food show, which has not been produced, but I called it American Sweet Tarts. And it was basically a really good-looking girl and me, kind of like Beauty and the Beast, and like she loved everything barbecue and whiskey, and I liked foie gras and champagne. I like all those things, but so while I was shooting the proof of concept for that show, he's like, "Casey, I have this audition for a food host show. Do you have any interest in auditioning for it?" I was like, "Dude, I'm currently filming a sizzle reel to show you to produce a show that I came up with." So long with it short, they called it Big Eats. So I was like, "All right, I'll audition for Big Eats," and then that led to an audition in my apartment, which was essentially a Zoom call at the time. There wasn't, it was FaceTime, so there was no Zoom. This is how long ago it goes. And I was, at the time, living in Brooklyn, and I was illegally renting my apartment via Airbnb, because that's just what you do, you know? And it worked out great. I tripled my rent for like a couple of years, and I, you know,
you were a slumlord?
I was slumming in my own apartment, but
okay.
no, they were a beautiful Italian couple that was coming in like 20 minutes after I had this audition. So I'm on FaceTime with a producer, and we go through this whole night of questioning, and it went over really well. And I was like, "All right, great. I really have to go," because I didn't say this, but I have to put the computer in the closet.
The Italians were coming.
Gotcha. Totally. And she's like, "Oh, are you ready for the food segment of this interview, like your pre-audition?" Because it wasn't really an audition, more of an interview. And I was like, "Oh, there's nothing in my fridge. There's no food prepared. I've done nothing to prepare for this." And I was like, "Give me a second." So I get up from my little table, my little kitchen, my little apartment in Brooklyn, and I go to the fridge, and the only thing that's in there is a jar of moonshine. So that I got probably the same way I rented my apartment, illegally.
From the Italians?
From the Italians, from the Southern Italians. And I brought the jar of moonshine, I sat down, I was like, this is all I got. So I talked about moonshine for 20 minutes. And that led to a physical audition for Man vs. Food, which was still Big Eats. And then it led to me getting a call from my agent, and he's like, hey, you got the Big Eats job. I was like, what? He's like, you got the Big Eats job. He's like, you have to go to the production company, which is in one of the biggest buildings in New York City, into their offices and sign contracts. I was like, where are you gonna be? He's like, I'm not gonna be there, but you're gonna be there. I was like, all right. So I go to this building that same day, and I'm sitting at this huge, imagine the biggest conference table you've ever seen on TV or in your own work. It was so intimidating. I sat down, I opened this contract, like your papers on the stage here. I flipped the page, it's like Big Eats, and the third page said Man vs. Food. I was like, are you kidding me?
Oh, so it was like they bamboozled you?
They totally, but they couldn't tell me because it was such under wraps that because it was such a popular show. I was like, I need to call my mom or a lawyer that I didn't have at the time. So I signed away, and then.
But you thought was Big Eats your idea?
No.
Oh,
it was just
right.
it was
okay.
It was like, they were trying to hide the fact that it was going to be Man vs. Food Part 2 after 5 years on hiatus. So.
Okay, so then when you got the gig though, and you go into this, so what Casey does is he goes up against like 10 pounds of this food and lots of milkshakes. It's like you can't help but consider diarrhea every time I see an episode. I'm sorry. I know what you mean. But hey, that's,
Steve, we all have occupational hazards that we don't talk about.
Okay.
And that's probably number 1 or number 2
and yet...
How's your meal, everybody?
There's more biscuits right here. Don't forget your cornbread.
The one word you say is diarrhea.
Yeah. It's important to bring it up at a cookery.
Welcome to...
But I know we have been friends now for a couple of years, and I know you to be actually a very healthy guy, like
husky and healthy.
How do you stay? I mean, how does that work? Where you eat like 50-pound hamburger and then
it's not every day, thankfully, and it's a TV show, right? So it's like I do have to take those challenges on, and I do my best. I'm not professional at it, Going into this audition, I was like, I'm a professional actor. And it was like, oh my God, I'm going to be a professional, food consumer. And it was just like, So I really winged it in the beginning, and because I figured, this can't be real, right? Like, we're not reading all this, but no, it's real. And so I had to kind of start training to do the job. Right? Like, I got the job first before I knew how to do it.
Really? So you had no background in that?
Well, I live in Jersey. I'm from Jersey, and there's Pete Elma's, which is down there in Neptune, right by the shore, and that they have a giant pizza that you eat, you get a T-shirt. I did the milk challenge, which was like a gallon of milk, and you can't finish it. And you might have the D word, maybe, and then the cinnamon challenge, where you can't.
You did the milk challenge? Is Iggy okay?
I have no idea
where did he go?
Oh, is he not in yet?
Okay.
We don't do this a lot. Iggy's not always on tour with me, so he's here with us. I thought
he's kind of a big deal.
He's kind of adorable.
Actually, he is adorable. He also looks like he's judging us.
No, he is totally judging us. I just got him a haircut yesterday, and because he usually looks like, you walk now, he looks like it was like a little kid who's going on his first day of school. Where are you? Oh, he's all in the corner. That's so...
No, it's cool.
He looks like the kid from The Omen in the background. Yeah, that's totally him, man.
But so the introvert in me...
oh, you have one of those too?
I'm an introvert living an extrovert's life, 100%.
You're not alone.
Okay, but so that's one of my questions, because you obviously, when you're hosting that show,
right.
It's so... hey, we're gonna do this, and there's all these people, and this gets me too. Like, people are like, come on, we want you to go ahead, be that. And you're like, I'll do it, anything you want me to do.
Yeah.
But then
people pleaser, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I guess. Although my team probably wouldn't call me a people pleaser. I don't know.
But you please a lot of people with your music and your sentiment, and who you are. I appreciate the message you send. You getting muddled up a little bit? I hope so.
Not yet. Not yet. We're still on like diarrhea.
You do that for me. I'm off of diarrhea.
Yeah, there's some songs on the side too that'll get you. No, but do you feel like everywhere you go though when you run into people who are familiar with you, are you expected to be the party, or do people expect you to be
the greatest
host?
Right. The greatest note that I got from like even the producer on day one when we first started shooting, he's like, "We just want you to be yourself." I'm like, I'm an actor. I don't know what that means, you know. Like I hosted like live stuff before, theater, improv, sketch, and all that, but like we really want you to be you. And I'm like, okay. And like it was like that was probably the hardest part. And then when I was given full reign to do that, the beauty of the job is the people that I get to meet along the way, and that's on camera, that's off camera, that's the cities we visit, and like to me, that's kept me in the game after 6 seasons and 90 episodes. You know, it's like, you know, I'm not 26 anymore. You know, trying to crush cheeseburgers in the hottest food on the planet. It became so much more than that. But that's what the show is, right? So that's what you see on TV. But for me, like the journey has been such a beautiful experience because like the restaurants we go to, they're mom and pop restaurants. I worked in all mom and pop restaurants in the back of the house, you know, in the kitchen, in front of the house, trying to make things work. And when the show airs, even if it's in perpetuity, like the first show I did still airs. If that restaurant is still open, God willing, after COVID, it's like they still get a bump in business. It's like, years later, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like I get chills every time I talk about it because it's so like that lasting. That ability to really keep the lights on, to help. I mean, I'm not the guy doing it.
But I feel that love when I watch. I watched a lot of episodes to getting ready for this thing.
Do you do it? Most people tell me they're on a treadmill when they watch this. I'm like, good.
Old SK hasn't been on a treadmill in about 3 years, so there's
like,
no danger of that. But no, I'm just usually like sitting and eating.
Right?
But
no, go to the kitchen.
But I feel love. I don't even sit down. I'm an overeater, but that's a topic for another day. I've asked you about that too, gut health and stuff.
Yeah, we talk a lot about that.
It's a little techie for this hang.
We're not talking about that. Very much like diarrhea, we shouldn't be talking about. That's the important thing. Everyone, when you do the step and repeat, make sure you, to the camera, say, diarrhea. Don't say that. I'm never going to say the word again.
No.
Ever.
Look at Iggy now. Iggy's like turning his back. He's like, you guys, you're blowing it.
He's panting and wondering what we're doing.
You were a child model for. I don't know what the word we're supposed to be using, but like husky children, winter fashions.
I was a husky model for a short period of time of winter fashions in New Jersey at the ski house that was down the street from our house. That was my mom's doing. That's where it all started.
Did that awaken in you something like, hey, I want to be a husky
How much
model?
I hated really tight ski clothes and my mom at the time. I love my mom, but like at the time, what are you doing to me? She's like, we get free ski clothes. Like, we don't even go skiing. You know? We're from New York City. Like, what are you doing? We're going sledding. That's better.
So 3 of my 4 kids, you were talking to them earlier, are here, and when we made Objects in the Mirror, we were in Nashville, and we were working, and I was working with some studio musicians who are about the most expensive people to hang out with on the planet. I mean, it was a big deal.
They're not your friends, Steve.
So that was clear. But I also was like, I don't care, just give me the music I need. It worked out. And I brought in my friends to play too. It was a mix of the band, and it was cool. But that's not the point. The point is, I was in...
Give me the music I need.
If you've ever seen the liner notes of Objects in the Mirror, there's a lot of photos in there, and the photographer who shot it said to me, Stephen, you look like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders in every single picture. I can't find a picture with you smiling. And I did. I was very happy when it was done, but it was a very stressful work. Yeah. So the kids were hanging out in Nashville, and they would come around for lunch just to kind of like bring me down to like just to level me out, right? And they came in one day and they're like, Dad, we made $350 this afternoon. And I was like, how? And they got a Cracker Barrel child modeling gig, where they all they were stopped on the street, dashed off to a photo shoot, shot pictures in clothes, and it was really cute because for Greta and Noelle, the clothes fit them pretty well, but they needed models so bad and on such demand that for
At Cracker Barrel.
Adeline and I guess Adeline
never
and
approached me
Sophie
at Cracker Barrel.
stuffed into these clothes. But I thought of you because they were jammed into these clothes.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They're like, I don't love this, but I should
One
be
size doesn't
making
fit
the
all.
money.
That's
So
being a chubby kid.
hey, you look great. You give
Thanks,
off
man.
nothing but love. Okay, I got one more question for you here. This is a non-food related question.
Oh.
This is what do you want to be remembered for by the people who love you and the people you love? Diarrhea. And Iggy. No, I know that's.
No, and I did Iggy move?
Iggy was facing the wall and turned back briefly and
He's
then
like,
turned back.
He's like, you have one opportunity to be really genuine. I think
But at
that's
least
wrong.
we have this bed here.
You know, I would.
I know this is like the kind of question we would prep, but I like
No, not at all. I think what comes to mind, and truthfully, is that I am the same person that not the guy who's yelling at the camera, but the same person that you can identify with on TV. Is I'm the same person you meet in person. Like that's my greatest joy is actually meeting people off camera in any scenario where they feel like they can come up and talk to me. Because people that watch a show, they're little kids, or guys like me, or couples. And it's like I have all the time in the world for that. So where I'm as human as I might appear on camera as I do in real life, and I am. That's pretty much me, a bit accelerated, and that's just connection, Like and I think that's why we've been successful with the show. Is like I've been able to do that much. Is at least connect with the audience, and that's to me it's really powerful. Where people have the time, they take their time to say hello. I have all the time in the world, so much so that they often they leave. Like, all right, we gotta go. I'm like, wait, you guys want to go to the bar? Or are you going to hang out? What are you guys doing? It's like, no, we gotta, yeah. So
are you like are you an extrovert? I can't tell. Like, who are you, Casey?
That's the next show, Stephen. That's the next show. Right? Who am I?
But you want to hang? You're down.
Oh yeah, I'm always
that's sweet. I feel that about you. I feel your kindness, man. I always have since.
Right back at you, Stephen.
Yeah, it's cool.
And that's how we met. We met in this crazy scenario. It was a very busy place, and it's like we found each other in the room at Vineyard Vines, like national meeting, and
I thought I was like, you want me to come talk to you? What?
I said the same thing.
I've never worn these clothes. Like what?
Did they send you a box of stuff? Oh yeah, they sent you clothes, right?
Well, no, they didn't send me much.
Oh.
And after I got back and told Kirsten, I'm like, it went really well. It was like 300 managers, like they dug it. And she's like, are we getting some clothes?
Merch?
And I'm like, let me work on that. So yeah,
it was like the first box they sent. It was like everything that season of my size, and I started taking stuff out of the box. Like it's like preppy Christmas. Like I don't wear this stuff.
I know,
but I gave it to my friends and my nephew.
I sometimes wear it like ironically. I put on. I'm like, let's just put on a pink shirt today for the hell of it.
I love salmon pants.
That's if you. It's a great company, and Ian Shepard,
They're
great guys.
amazing.
It's just funny that it was neat, and we definitely found each other in the room.
Sure. I just don't know if I can get away with it every time I put the clothes on. Like I feel like an imposter here.
I think if you showed up on every show, it wouldn't be on brand. You guys, I hope you've enjoyed hearing from my friend Casey Webb. Casey, thanks for coming and talking to us, too. Thank you.